Hello folks, Shin Tiger Curl here, that dude Destrawhead, bringing you yet another awesome video. As you can clearly see, it's yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile video. This is not actually a original deck profile, this is an updated deck profile, because I've been getting a lot of traffic on my previous Psyframe video, and a lot of people brought up some stuff that I, unfortunately for them, already knew by the time that video came out, because a lot more support came out and I had a new build for it. So this is just an update video on the current build of the Psyframe deck that I am currently using. So if you've already seen my other Psyframe video, then you already know how the deck works, what are the main monsters. This is the build I've been using for a lot of my decks, and it's been consistent at least 70 to 80% of the time. I mean, the bad draws and all, I do have them occasionally, but yeah, this is the best build I have seen. So this is the best build I have so far. Very flexible, very dangerous. The only changes, at least I can tell from the old video, I added, of course, 2 card D. If you don't know what this is, I can only activate during my main phase 1, can't be special summoned. If this was normal summoned, I contribute it to draw 2 cards, and then my end phase immediately happens, and I can't special summon the turn I use this on. This is good draw power, and it open up your field for so that you can fulfill the prerequisites of the Psyframe tuner monsters. So there's that, yeah. Another new card that I added a while ago, Psychic Field Zone. Regular old spell card. Its effect is to select 2 of your remove from play monsters, 1 Psychic Tuner and 1 Psychic type non-tuner, return to the graveyard, and special summon a Psychic type Synchro monster from your extra deck in face of defense position, whose level is equal to the total level of returned monsters. This is essentially a free Synchro summon right here. And because of how the deck works, you're gonna have banished cards at any time during your during the gameplay. So either for their secondary effects after you activate them, or because of Psyframe Overload, which you'll be banishing cards like nobody's business. This is a good card, great card that works for this. The only downside that I don't like is that you summon it in defense mode, and the Psychic tuners, the Psychic type monsters you'll be having, Omega and Zeta and Thought Ruler Archfiend, they'll be in defense mode, but I really wanted them from attack mode. But it's good to have that kind of option on board. You already know about Psychic Path, paying 800 to bring back 2 remove from play Psychic monsters. That's awesome. Psychokinesis, which lets you just pop a card as long as you have a face-up Psychic monster, which you'll have, and you'll take 1,000 points of damage. Psyframe Circuit, which makes this deck run so very smooth like butter. For those of you who don't know, if a Psyframe monster or stirs is special summoned to your side of the field except during a damage step, you can immediately synchro summon synchro summon 1 monster using those Psyframe monsters you control. This makes synchro summoning fast. Like somebody said in my last video why I didn't have urgent tuning. This is why you don't need urgent tuning in this. Because urgent tuning only activates during your opponent's battle phase. It's slow. I only added in there because I only had it in my earlier builds because the earlier builds of Psyframes didn't have a way to synchro very fast, and so urgent tuning was the only way to go. But Psyframe Circuit, perfect for what it does. And it doesn't. You don't necessarily have to synchro summon a Psychic or a Psyframe monster. It works pretty much with any. As long as you have the appropriate levels, you can sync for any monster. So look into level 7 and 8 monsters. I like Moonlight Rose Dragon to bounce back those annoying cards from the extra deck. Clearing Synchro Dragon's pretty cool. I like that. Red Dragon Nova Scar Right. Awesome. Love this card. Avenging Air Knight Parshaft. Good for switching your annoying high attack monsters to defense mode, and it does trample. Yay! Start a Spark Dragon. Does what it does, and of course Thought Ruler Archfiend. This is just a preliminary build. I may add more cards into my extra deck. Maybe I think uh, Red Hot, an Archfiend Dragon, or Stardust Dragon, or what have you. But anyway, this is what I have. But this card makes it so that you can. This is a problem card for your opponent, because if you do summon one of these, you can just bring out a level 7 or level 8. So there's that. I had some space, so I activated Power Duality. This doesn't slow the deck down. It makes it a little bit more faster, giving it even more draw power than it normally does. So, and since I won't be summoning anything on my turn, its whole special summon, you can't special summon the turn you activate this card, really doesn't hurt me at all. As for traps, we have Psyframe, we have Psychic Trigger. I can only activate it when my life points are lower than my opponent's. I banish 2 psychic monsters from my graveyard to draw 2 cards. Awesome. And a few times I've comboed this into Bright Future. Another trap card. Target 2 banished psychic type monsters, return them targets to the graveyard, and draw 1 card. 3 cards for the price of 1. And if you even have this one, Psyframe Overload, select 3 psychic type monsters in your graveyard, return them to the deck, and draw 2 cards. I had this on the field, and in one turn I was able to draw 5 cards. Awesome. Torrential Tribute, enough said, destroys everything when a monster is summoned. Doesn't really, it works wonders for me, because I really have an advantage to just having no monsters on the board. And Psyframe Overload. This fucks people over. Basically what it does, you banish a Psyframe monster either from your hand or your side of the field, and then target a card on the field and banish it face down. This disrupts so many plays. It just throws your opponent off balance. As long as you have Psyframe monsters on the field or in your hand, you can just keep banishing whatever they have. Like I said, a lot of things in the game have immunity to destruction effects. Doesn't have immunity from banishing effects. So if you want to, this is a good way to disrupt someone trying to go for a sync play or a exceeds play or anything, or getting rid of those pesky pendulum monsters, because even if you pop them, they'll just go to the extra deck and they can be summoned later. So this is a good way to just disrupt your opponent's play. Also, add a little bonus. If this card is in your graveyard, during either player's turn, except for the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and add a Psyframe card from your hand to your deck, except Overload. So even if your opponent pops this, either your next turn or their next turn, you can just banish it and search for any other Psyframe card depending on the situation. And thanks to Omega, which can bring back a banished card from the graveyard, from the banished zone, and return it to the graveyard, you can keep reusing this to keep bringing back the cards that you want. So yeah, this is my current build. Like I said, I've had about 70 to 80% success rate with this. It is tricky if you don't know what you're doing with it. You can overextend yourself. So if this case, always have options on hand. Always think about your next plays. And if you know what your opponent is playing, then you can use Overload to disrupt that. Because if they're playing a high pendulum based deck, you can just banish the pendulum so they can't bring them back. If they're playing exceeds, just banish one of them, one of the exceed materials before they go into a exceed summon, or just banish the exceeds itself. So now I've had some people say there have been a lot of theories and strategies behind how you can beat this deck, and some people just say, well, just don't play anything. That is not a good idea to do with this deck. In my experience, I've had people try to do that on me a few times, and it just doesn't work because if they don't do anything, I can just draw the cards I need, and sometimes I draw a Psyframe Overload and I can start banishing shit. And then I can have Psychic Field Zone to do some synchro summoning, so when I do that, they have to play. So you can't just sit back and do nothing against Psyframes. I haven't played against a lot of Psyframe decks, so I can't say exactly what is a good counter strategy for against this deck. All you have to do is, if you know how the deck works, then find some ways to stop it. Like, the best way I can say is get rid of Psyframe Driver if you can. At least banish it, or find a way to force them to banish it. Because if Psyframe Driver is banished, and you have no way to get it back, either by Psychic Path or Psychic Field Zone, or by Omega, then this pretty much freezes the deck. It really can't run without Psyframe Driver. So there's that. That's the only thing I can come up with. Someone else also pointed out that I should try to use wind-ups to do in this deck, and I'm like, no. I tried a wind-up build, but it fucked this everything over too much for my taste. Again, that's just my taste. You don't have to do exactly what I do in this deck, so you can create your own variant of Psyframes. This is just the build I prefer. Like I said, it's all about preference. This is the deck build that I primarily use. I may switch out Duality and Torrential because I have space for one more spell and one more trap. So I'm just to see how these two work in the long run. But this is just my deck. You can play with it if you want. I mean, like I said, I'm not the be-all and end-all of Yu-Gi-Oh players. Like I said, 70 to 80% is not all that great in the grand scheme of things. So, just if this video helps you, go ahead. Just take some tips, whatever. I'm just here to help you guys. So anyway, this is my Psyframe update video. So if you like what you see, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, tips, or strategies, leave them below. I'll get back to you. Also, if you want to support the channel, Patreon is in the link. You know what to do. Or the tip jar is up in the corner. But, yes, that is all for my Psyframe update video. So until next time, this has been Shin Tiger Curl, Bad Dude in the Straw Hat saying good day, and Psyframes ho!